Happy 2021 everyone, we are back with a bang, and this time around we are going to be reviewing the new Gucci Beauty Natural Finish Fluid Foundation as well as the new Silk Priming Serum. As usual, I'm going to be doing a wear test showing coverage on one side of my face, and I'm also going to be wearing the primer on just one side so we can see in the wear down whether one side performs better than the other and whether this foundation formula and the primer formula is right for you. Now these retail at $100 in Singapore. They are available at all Gucci Beauty counters as well as on Sephora. What I find refreshing about this launch is that it doesn't make a ton of claims. This is just meant to be a natural finish foundation. You can build it up for slightly higher coverage or just leave it really fresh on the skin with a light coat. There are no long wear claims. It does not say if it's going to oxidize or it's going to change shades during the day, so we're going to have to find that out during the wear test. On the other hand, the serum is supposed to be a formula that is silky smooth and leaves your skin feeling refreshed and hydrated. It does not have a heavy, slippery, silicone feel, which I really appreciate. I just want something that smooths over the skin and allows makeup to glide on over it, which this one definitely does. It has a very light and fresh texture that just sort of rubs out and almost feels like what it claims, a primer in a serum in one. This primer does not leave a matte finish, and it also does not give you a glowy, dewy finish either. So it really just gives you a very natural, clean, hydrated feel and look to your skin. It doesn't really change the texture and finish of the makeup that you put on top of it. If you use me as a shade match, I am usually around a beige 20 in Chanel foundations, 20 or 21 for Dior, and I also use a MAC 20, NC 20 to 25, depending on how much of a tan I have. Now, I was matched to a 220N initially at the store, but then they were out of that shade, so I opted to go for the next closest golden toned shade, which is 230 Warm. I wouldn't call this a light coverage. I would say it's a sheerish medium, so it definitely is build one. It builds beautifully on top of itself. I have used this a few times and tapped on a little bit of extra foundation around my eyes or on discolorations, almost as a lightweight concealer, and it builds very well on top of itself. As expected, this foundation goes on with a satin finish. It is neither overly matte nor overly dewy, which is pretty nice if you want something lightweight that's not going to change the finish of your skin. It actually just looks and feels like skin. I wouldn't call this a light coverage. I would say it's a sheerish medium. I have used this a few times and tapped on a little bit of extra foundation around my eyes or on discolorations, almost as a lightweight concealer, and it builds very well on top of itself. I didn't get any streaking. I didn't have to work at it too much with a sponge or a brush, which was really nice. I did find that on the side of my face where I applied the primer, the foundation went on with a little bit more of a soft focus finish. I felt like the shine and the pores on my skin were muted just a little bit, so it's a very nice, mildly filtered effect. It does dry down though. I've primarily worn it out for half a day the past few times I've worn it, and I didn't find it to oxidize. It didn't change color on me. It didn't go all claggy or start to break down too soon. But of course today I am going to the office. I'm gonna have to wear it for a whole day, and then after that I'm gonna check in and let you know how it survived. Hey guys, it is now almost 9 p.m. and I have been wearing this foundation way longer than I was expecting to. It is now 12 hours of wear, and I have to remind you guys again that this foundation makes no claims about being long wear. It is not supposed to be oil control or anything like that. It's just a fresh, natural looking foundation. This is the cool and rainy season in Singapore, so I haven't been sweating a ton today. That said, this has been on for most of the day, and I have been out and about walking around as well. I have been wearing a face mask as well. Nothing has lifted off visibly around my cheek area, although I would say maybe there isn't too much coverage left around my jaws. It's also surprisingly fresh looking around my inner cheek area. I have not blotted with any additional powder today. I haven't used a blotting sheet either, so I'm going to do that now. Not a lot of oil at all for how long this has been on my face, and this has been pretty consistent every time that I've worn this foundation. It does have very good hydrating properties without looking dewy or greasy, so my skin is usually very comfortable under this foundation. I also don't see too much of a visible difference between both sides of my face. This side was the one where I applied some of the priming serum, and on this side it was just the foundation. So after 12 hours, I would say if there's any difference, it's really marginal. It's more in terms of a little bit of the soft focus effect at the start of the day, but that kind of wears off and I don't see any difference, not to the naked eye at least. While I like how this looks, if you're taking photographs or you're going to be wearing your makeup for a short while, maybe this would make a little bit of a difference. As it stands right now, I don't think this makes enough of a difference for me to suggest paying another 90 bucks on top of 100 for this one. Now my under eye area is still very dry. I see a few very faint crease marks around this area where I smile, but it's not too bad. Overall, for a foundation that doesn't claim to be long-lasting, this is at least fresh enough and lightweight enough that it has stayed very nice. It has stayed color true. It has not emphasized any texture or pores where I don't want it to, and even without any additional blotting or powder throughout the day, it has lasted surprisingly well. All in all, the Gucci Beauty Natural Finish Fluid Foundation is a recommend for me. I really like it and I have been wearing it for quite a few days now. It has performed consistently well on my skin through slightly warmer days as well as slightly cooler ones. Again, I'm not too sure how well it's going to perform if you have extremely oily skin. Given the fact that this does not have any long wear claims, it does not have any oil absorbent properties, it doesn't really claim to do any of that, I probably would not suggest this for those of you who need a lot of coverage or staying power. As for those with extremely dry skin, while this has some hydrating properties, I don't feel it is sufficient for my driest areas. It does still look a little bit dried out around my eye area, so if you have extremely dry skin, you probably need a hydrating primer and a lot of hydrating skincare underneath to keep this looking fresh for more than, say, half a day. But for everyone else in between, if you want a very natural looking foundation that looks gorgeous up close, this is one of those foundations where I was sitting right next to my husband and he said, it looks great. It looks just like real skin. It just evens out everything. It has enough coverage to cover up mild discolorations, even a little bit of dark circles and all that, without having too much additional concealer or powder on, which is pretty impressive for how lightweight of a texture it has. If that sounds like a dream texture or formula to you, then I highly suggest that you check this out, if budget permits. And that's it for a quick review of the new Gucci Beauty Primer and Foundation. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I really hope your 2021 has gone off to a great start. Here's to more happy weeks ahead, and I'll see you in the next video.